Hi, gang. This is Boomer with Occupy Democrats. There is one characteristic that Agent Orange and his cult followers possess, and that is selfishness. Some may be racist, some may be religious zealots.
I thank you for President Trump. I put a hedge of protection around him. I secure his purpose. I secure his destiny. I secure his life, God. And I thank you that he will walk in a holy boldness and a wisdom, God, and that you will go before him. You will be his rear guard, and you will go in front of him this day and every day, God.
Some may be billionaires, some obsessed with guns or outlawing abortion. But what they all are is selfish. They put their own interests above everyone else's, above the country, above hungry immigrants, above the disadvantaged, the sick, the needy, the elderly, you name it. They care little about anything other than themselves and preserving the past and their current status. It's been called the tyranny of the minority, and that's not far from the truth. Well, I want to tell you, there's a heck of a price to being so self-absorbed and narcissistic. Whatever happened to the golden rule in these people's lives? Seems to me a majority of Americans believe in some version and some degree of do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But not these Trump acolytes. They're very selfish. And, it's just maybe time to pay the piper for following such an ugly, dishonest, and selfish figure. The third time around. He's sinking fast, both physically and mentally, and he received a wallop a few hours ago that just might spell the end for Donald Trump, the politician.
They're going to say if Leon's going to send up a rocket. Can you imagine you're a parent and your son leaves the house and you say, Jimmy, I love you so much. Go have a good day in school. And your son comes back with a brutal operation. You take a look at bacon and some of these products, and some people don't eat bacon anymore. This was caused by their horrible energy wind.
If you win in November, can you commit to prioritizing legislation to make childcare affordable? And if so, what specific piece of legislation will you advance?
Well, I would do that, and we're sitting down. I was somebody, we had Senator Marco Rubio, and my daughter Ivanka was so impactful on that issue. It's a very important issue. But I think when you talk about the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, that, because look, child care is child care. There's something, you have to have it. In this country, you have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about by taxing foreign nations at levels that they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And it's not going to stop them from doing business with us, but they'll have a very substantial tax when they send product into our country. Those numbers are so much bigger than any numbers that we're talking about, including child care, that it's going to take care. We're going to have, I look forward to having no deficits within a fairly short period of time, coupled with the reductions that I told you about on waste and fraud and all of the other things that are going on in our country. Because I have to stay with child care. I want to stay with child care, but those numbers are small relative to the kind of economic numbers that I'm talking about, including growth, but growth also headed up by what the plan is that I just told you about. We're going to be taking in trillions of dollars, and as much as child care is talked about as being expensive, it's relatively speaking not very expensive compared to the kind of numbers we'll be taking in.
The New York Times editorial board officially endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris this morning, writing Ms. Harris is a dedicated public servant who has demonstrated care, competence, and an unwavering commitment to the Constitution. The Times went on to write, Ms. Harris is the only patriotic choice for president. Now, you may say no big surprise here, but what is a surprise is the scathing takedown of Trump, something we could not find in Times presidential endorsements in the past. The Times writes, unless American voters stand up to him, Mr. Trump will have the power to do profound and lasting harm to our democracy. They continue, he has proved himself morally unfit for an office that asks its occupant to put the good of the nation above selfish interest. He has proved himself temperamentally unfit for a role that requires the very qualities, wisdom, honesty, empathy, courage, restraint, humility, discipline that he most lacks. The last straw that may well be the one to break Trump's political back was the choice of words the Times selected to lead off in the endorsement's very first paragraph. Quote, "It's hard to imagine a candidate more unworthy to serve as President of the United States than Donald Trump." Let me repeat that. It is hard to imagine a candidate more unworthy to serve as President of the United States than Donald Trump. I believe that says it all. This is Boomer, and this Boomer hits different with Occupy Democrats.